ladies and gentlemen, today we have another guide. This time, it will be with Holy Roman Empire. Now, in the French Pro Scouting Guide, I said whichever civ gets the most upvotes, I'm going to do that. And HRE got the most upvotes. Technically, it was Rus, I think, at the time, but Rus I already have a guide for Rus, which is very similar to the Pro Scouting Guide. So I just said, you know what, let's do HRE. So, I'm going to teach you how to do Pro Scouting with Holy Roman Empire, and I'm going to show you two different games. One game I'm going to be showing you is going to be with mine work, and one game is going to be with Chapel. So you kind of have a little bit of both and see what the benefits and differences are for both of them. Even if Pro Scouting gets nerfed in the future, so if you're watching this video, right now it's January 2025, if you're watching in like March or something and there's been a patch and it's nerfed, it's probably still going to be viable. It will not be the most dominant thing, but it will still be one of the builds you can do. Because right now, Pro Scouting in the current meta at the top level is basically what everyone is doing. So Pro Scouting, the reason why it's good, I explained this in the French Pro Scouting Guide. If you haven't watched it, I'll explain it quickly. The reason Pro Scouting is so popular right now is because 2TC builds feel pretty bad against Pro Scouting because the Pro Scouting player gets all the deer on the map, which is like close to 10,000 food. And then they age up to castle faster than you, they get the relics, and then they build a second town center, or they can just Pro Scout into all in you. So 2TC against Pro Scout is very difficult to hold. Pro Scouting against fast castle builds is also very strong because if the opponent goes fast castle but you take all the deer, they will actually run out of food at a point way quicker than you. So fast castle builds with like, you know, just planting a tower on the gold and stuff from the other civs is not that good in the current meta. And then you have the good old feudal all-in, which is enemy just makes units and you go for it. In that case, if you go for Pro Scouting, all you need to do is protect your Pro Scouting and try to get deer here and there, and eventually, again, if you keep fighting in feudal, your opponent will run out of food. So that's why Pro Scouting is so popular, and basically like 12 or 13 civs right now in the game can do Pro Scouting, which is why I'm teaching you guys and showing you guys this build. So let's get to it. So you're going to start with 3 workers on food, 3 workers on gold, and then you're going to simply rally onto the food until the age up. Try to put your sheep on the side of the gold so that you can inspire both easily. So like don't do sheep here because then you're going to need to run from here to there to inspire. So try to put them in between. Now this game specifically is a very interesting game. So you see this sheep right here? That's the only sheep that I got. So my opponent got 19 sheep, I got 1. And the reason I wanted to include this game into the guide is because it's a very good showcase of how strong Pro Scouting is. So even, I think it's important to show games where stuff doesn't go right, and then you can still win from then on out. Rather than me finding 19 sheep and being like, oh, this is how you Pro Scout. It's like, well, I already won at that point. So we're going to be aging up. As you're about to age up, you're going to put another worker on gold. So you want 4 on gold, okay? You need 4 so you can have enough gold for Pro Scouting. Now, this game, like I said, I'm going to go mine work. But in the other game, I'll show you guys, I will be going Chapel, and I'll kind of explain the reasons for both. You're going to age up with 4. And as you're aging up, you put 3 on food, 4 on gold, and then the rest we're going to rally onto the wood. Because we need to build a house, a mill, and we need to build stables later and get Pro Scouting, which is a lot of wood. So you can see I'm putting my prelate here. Always try to pull the prelate away from your landmark workers so they don't get inspired. So if I put it here, the prelate would inspire these guys and then these guys, and that's wasted. So I'm putting it here so that it inspires these villagers and these villagers over here. There's the mill. And as we're aging up, you'll see how it lines up pretty nicely. Making a house right here. Look at that, 290 gold. The age up is about to complete, and we can get Pro Scouting immediately. Now, again, this is the worst case scenario game. I actually run out of sheep in a second here. So I'm gonna go on berries. That's how bad the situation was. We're chopping wood. Again, we want to get the stables. And we're gonna put I usually put, I think, 10 on wood, and then I just rally onto the food for a very, very long time. The reason I put 10 on wood is because I want to get a lot of production out so I can defend my Pro Scouting or fight in feudal. And once you get Pro Scouting, you want to only leave 2 on gold. Because these guys on gold, for now, are just going to be getting you the eco upgrade. So you can get wheelbarrow, double broad axe, survival techniques, very important, because it makes your pro scouting a lot better. So that's something to consider and to do. So there's a stable, and at the time of pro scouting finish, try to, like, finishes like this, try to have your scout on the enemy side of the map stealing their deer first. So just yoink one of their deer, that's 350 food. Not only that you got, but 350 food that they lost. So the moment it finishes, boom, we yoink that, and then the other deer, we're just gonna take the close ones. Now, one small trick, you can rally your stables onto the deer, and basically the scout will go and just pick them up one by one. So this is something to make it a lot easier for you. Now we're making spearmen, we're making another barracks. The reason we're making spearmen is pro scout meta is, you know, is alive and well. He's also going pro scouting, so I need spearmen to protect my scouts, because Malian scouts are stronger, but no matter what civ you played against, it's usually, I mean, if the opponent is making units to stop you, then make units to, you know, prevent that. So what I like to do is you put some spearmen on this deer pack, some spearmen on the bottom deer pack, and just try to basically protect that. You're fighting, like, kind of like against fighting over relics, but you're fighting over deer very early on. So you want to make sure you have enough units. And as you notice, you're getting too much wood and you don't need any more production, which is going to be very soon. You can move away workers like I just did. I'm only going to leave 6 on wood. I have 4 production buildings, and I have blacksmith and mine work, so I don't need to build a blacksmith. And now I'm just going to focus on mass food and just spam horsemen and spearmen. Now, if you look at my map vision, this is what it looks like. So I have spearmen there, I'm pro scouting, and once I pro scout my side, I'm going to go try to take his. You can see I sent spearmen here, because I see that he took some deer on this side. Now, one thing to note, when to go mine work, when to go chapel. So you can do both, genuinely. Now, mine work is very nice because of this. It makes your spearmen and horsemen very strong in feudal age specifically. And obviously you have this later on for your knights that get 2 melee and 2 ranged armor. But pro scouting works with both, and the reason for that is with mine work you get stronger units so that you can fight a lot better in feudal age, right? Your spearmen got +2 damage, horsemen got +2 damage, that's pretty good. But also your knights later on. So even feudal, it's very good. Castle, it's very good. But also imperial, it's very good. Now the downside of mine work is you don't have a chapel. So if I had a chapel here, my income early on would be a lot higher. So chapel here, I would get the wood chop way better, gold mine way better, and these guys would gather a lot more. And then you also get the farms later on. But you don't have the bonus upgrades that mine work does. So it's a trade-off. Now, you might think that, well, with deer, you don't need farms early on, so mine work is always better. Yes, but with chapel, you have all the deer under the chapel, so your income is just crazy, right? So again, both work. I would suggest you try both and see what works for you. Sometimes, if the chapel spawn is like really good, like if this was in the back, like let's say gold was here and I had like double woodline, chapel here would be really good because you get a lot of resources. But I feel like forward chapel, not as good. So, here we go. So as I'm pro scouting, I'm taking all the deer and I'm just massing units right now. Now, I want to note, and this is why HRE is strong civ in general, but if we just pause right here, and if we compare a unit count and a worker count, mind you, he's also making units, he's also getting upgrades, he's also pro scouting, and I had 1 sheep. I have 8 spearmen, horsemen, 5 scouts, he has 6 scouts, and 3 donzos only. So, we're both spamming units. He didn't even go for the second pit mine because he's producing units fully. He's trying to also cowboom, and you can see I already have more units than he does. And this is kind of the power of HRE because of the prelate and inspiration, the way it works. Your economy is really, really good. And now, even though donzos have 1 melee armor, and spearmen do not, once I upgrade this, I'm going to have 2 bonus damage, so my spearmen will actually beat his. which is very, very important in these kinds of spearman battles. And because your spearmen are stronger than the enemies, you don't need to go archers as HRE. I can just go mass spearman here, and if he wants to fight them, he needs to actually go for archers in this case. So it's very nice, but also you can transition into a man-at-arms. So you have two options here. As I'm changing my battery, you have two options here as HRE. You can either all in, aka make a lot of units and push and try to end the game, or you can simply take the map control. I took control of this deer pack and I took some deer here, and then you can just age up and then force your opponent to, you extend the game, you get the relics and everything else. So which one is correct? Both are okay, both are correct. One is not better than the other. I would say it's what you prefer. Like, do you prefer fighting? Do you not like late game? Then just all in. From this point on, I would probably go men-at-arms, make more horsemen, and just commit. You can see I'm already making some men-at-arms. If you prefer to go castle, I'm in a great spot now for castle. Look at this. If I stop making units right now, like if I stop making units completely, the opponent, like I can move the villagers from wood to gold, which I'll explain in a second why they're in wood, and I can just age up, and there's nothing he can do about it. Nothing. Because I have so many units, if he comes out, I can just kill his whole army. So he's trying to cow boom while all this is happening. And what I actually did is in this game, I decided to all in. So I am making men-at-arms now with triple barracks. I'm no longer making horsemen, I only made a couple. And now I'm gonna go with a lot of archer ranges. And I'm going to just transition to men-at-arm archer, which is very good against Malian. Now, as someone in the chat brought this up, I saw it earlier, so I'm gonna address it. Like I'm addressing some allegations or something. So, is it worth to build a prelate? So, if you have gold, you can. So, technically, if every 8 workers, it is worth to build a prelate. But also, if you lose a prelate, it's a lot more painful than losing a villager, because it's more expensive, and prelate is only as good as how well you're utilizing it. So, if I have a prelate here now, or even 2 prelates here, very good. But if I have 3 workers here, or like 5 workers, let's say here, and I have a prelate here, that's not worth. It's not worth to have a prelate on 5 workers over having another worker long term. So you need to kind of utilize them well. And if that's something you can do, then you can just make prelate here and there if you want to, and make sure they're in a good spot. Another thing you can do is when you make a mill and you make 8 farms around it, you just put a prelate next to the mill on hold position. So you just press standing ground, V. And that prelate will basically inspire those 8 farms, and you just leave it there for the rest of the game, and it's going to be doing good work. Now, I go for a push here. Like I said, I'm getting ranged armor. I just dive this tower because he does not have enough units. I can see how many cows he has, which means he's went quite a lot on economy. So I just dive. He has a couple of donzels here, which I already heard. I just decided to dive. He's trying to hold the tower, because if this tower goes down, all this will go down. He's trying to hold it. The men-at-arms are tanking quite a bit. I don't even have ranged armor yet, so this could have been a lot better if I did, but you know, it is what it is. He loses that, and now I can torch the houses. And a reminder, he does not have a second gold pit, so at this point the game is over, and he just taps out. Not to mention, I am cranking units in the back. Archers, spearmen, men-at-arms are coming, so just a lot of units coming out. And because he went for the cow boom follow-up, it did not work out. Now let me show you another game. I think it's this one. It almost got deleted in the match history, so I'm glad I decided to do the guide first today, because otherwise it would be a destruction. This was against May, and this was on Hill and Dale. So I wanted to show you a map where it doesn't have to be like a standard normal map, like Dry Arabia or Himayama, where there's just 4 deer packs and they're far away from your base. I wanted to show you a game where you have a deer pack in your base and you can still do pro scouting and it's still worth. So let's get into it. So May is one of the players that plays only Delhi, and this matchup used to be very HRE favored, but I feel like these days it's very, very even. I actually had this matchup in my practice earlier today, and I won from Delhi's side. So I think both both sides can win. It used to be like an auto win for HRE in a way, but I think players are quite a bit better these days. So this game I go Chapel, and I go forward Chapel. You know, it's Hill and Dale, so you always have Woodline in the front, kind of. And even though I'm going to go Pro Scouting, look, I'm going to push into Deer, the main one that I have. Because why would I waste time later Pro Scouting that when I can just do it now? Now, if it was in the back, I could probably just get it later with Pro Scouting. So, we got the Chapel, and now my income is going to be quite a bit better. I'm getting the stables, same thing, Pro Scouting, doing a little wall here. And once again, I'm going to go for his Deer first. So I'm going to just yoink one, yoink, and then minus 350 food. And I'm going to try to get another one here. I don't know if it's going to work out. Oh, I had to drop off the Deer. And as you're distracting your opponent, now Delhi is different to Malian because Delhi has a lot of units very fast. So you can see he's already having Ghazi chasing me around, and my barracks just finished earlier and I just started making Spearmen. So now, because I'm, you know, if the opponent doesn't see you, you can just get the Deer, but if the opponent does see you, just go to the Deer closer to you. So I'm doing some Pro Scouting here. Every time I get low, I run away. My Spearmen are now out. I'm doing some more walling. And Deer can be used in a few different ways. Obviously, it can propel your economy quite a bit, so you can hit castles really fast. Look how much income per minute I already have, by the way. And this is because of Chapel. So earlier, I also was on Deer, but I did not have this much income. But because of Chapel, inspiring all the Deer villagers, it is quite good. Now, I took 2 Deer from this pack, and I took both of my packs, basically. And now what you can try and do, you can try to fight over the last Deer pack. So even if, like one thing to consider, if you take 7 Deer, that is 2,450 food, right? But you don't have 2,450 food bonus. You actually have double that compared to your opponent because he doesn't have it, right? See what I mean? So if you take away his 2,450, you're a lot further ahead than if you just had an extra 2,450 food. So it is very good. Not only you limit how much they can push and how much they can all in, but you also kind of dictate when they need to go farms because you took more food. And if they need to go farms first, then you can have more units in the field and have map control. So this game, again, I'm making men-at-arms. Now, he's not really committing to fighting me here. So I decide to just go for men-at-arms, and I'm making horsemen because I saw archers this time. So in the previous game against Malian, I made a lot of spearmen and some horsemen into men-at-arm archer. But this game, I see Ghazis and archers, so I just go men-at-arm horsemen because that comp would be pretty good against him. He loses a little scout here. I yoink one of the Deer. I take this Deer home, and then I try to get these in the back of his base. Now, from here on out, same situation. I can either all in. I think I ended up losing all these scouts. Unfortunate. So again, you have 2 options. You either all in, or you age up yourself and you extend the game. Now, I kind of went in between. I did commit to a lot of units, but you can see I'm almost at the age up, and I have a lot of gold. So I'm going to age up behind this. And May is the type of player, I played against him a lot, and he loves going for these kind of somewhat early castles. You can see he only has 5 Ghazis and 5 archers. So I just made a lot of units, and this is something you can do no matter what city you play against. If you see that they're aging up super early, and you're like, you know what, I can punish that. I'm not sure if I even know. No, I don't know about it yet. I go for these villagers. I get 3, 4. I see the age up, and I just say, you know what? You're not really prepared if you're aging up this fast. You don't really have a lot of units. So I just decided to go for a dive. So now this might seem like a waste, but you'll see in a second. I go for the dive. First of all, he loses all the scouts, which is not the biggest deal. He loses 4 scouts. But now the idle time. So I had 4 workers killed. And you'll see that number is going to go up quite a bit. Horsemen and men-at-arms have, horsemen have 3, men-at-arms have 4 ranged armor. So this T is doing damage, but it's not doing crazy amounts of damage. And look at this idle time. he has 30 workers idle right now, just doing nothing. He's getting scholars, trying to heal a bit. And behind this, I hit castle 2. Once this goes over, look at that. 14, 15 workers killed. So, yeah. I actually killed a lot more than I thought. Now, from here on out, we don't need to play the whole replay. I think this game goes for a bit longer. I was actually not aware that I killed that man. I thought I killed like 5-6 extra because he had healers out and stuff. But the game goes for another like 15 minutes. I went Imperial and he actually went fast Imperial, and then he had hand cannoneer elephant, so I needed some bombards to push him. But from here on out, it was pretty one-sided game because, I mean, I'm almost double his worker count. And I took 2 relics. He took 3, which is completely fine for me because I have 2 relics with HRE. Is better than 3 relics with other civs. So from here on out, it just ended up being a GG. But in general, with HRE, pro scouting, like I said, is very good, and it's very good with chapel and very good with mine work. Same thing as with French when I was making a guide. French is good because you have a stable the moment you age up, basically. So you get pro scouting really fast and it's a smooth transition. With HRE, you don't have that. Your pro scouting is a bit slower, right? Because you need to build a stable and you need to make scouts from it slowly. But you have other bonuses to it, which is chapel or mine work, where your infantry and your horsemen are better. So there it is. If you're playing against a Knight Civ, obviously you're gonna need spearmen. Another thing you can do is, except going for like a lot of army and pushing, if the opponent is just AFK, you know, like let's say you're playing against Abbasid and they go 2 TC and they're just not interacting with you and you're just pro scouting, you don't even need to make any units. You can just go castle immediately. Just drop the onto your chapel, get sick food income, and just go. You can even go burger or you can go cathedral. Most of the time you do want to go cathedral. So the options are endless, actually, with this one. I feel like there's no real bad choices in, you know, landmark choices in feudal, and I feel like both plays to stay in feudal and commit or to age up are completely okay as long as you don't die. And that's gonna be it. That was how to do pro scouting with Holy Roman Empire. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something new. I do plan to create a little bit of chaos for the ladder. So this is actually the announcement for YouTube and on Twitch. Because I already have a very aggressive build with French, and I have a very aggressive build with HRE, which is the Burger Rush, which is still valid to this day. And you can also burger off of this. I was thinking about doing 14 guides about the most disgusting cheeses that every civilization can do. Think of it like a burger all-in or the English villager pool at the start. I was thinking about just doing 14 guides for 14 different civs, and let's turn the ladder into a little bit of a chaos. So let me know what you think, and that's gonna be it. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now. If you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going, baby.